Good evening, everybody. My name is Louis Lee. I'm from All Lens Media, and this is Plan and Traffic. And I'm your host of the most. We got a couple people in the chat room, John and Jim. How's it going, guys? And we are now live on YouTube. So if anybody wants to go over there and subscribe and click the little bell, would be appreciated. We get a couple guys in. And feel free to go to planandtraffic.com and buy a t-shirt or a hat or something. All right. We got Chassis John, Jim, and Terry. What up, Coverman 66? What's going on, Jim? Can't hear you. No volume. Wait, your mic's off. Hold on. What up, Terry?
What's happening, gentlemen? What's up?
Oh, man, just trying to make it happen.
Jim LaSala's in the house. What's happening, Jim?
His mic's off. Wait a minute.
Oh, it's my.
I'm hitting it, but it's not coming on.
Maybe he's got to log out and get back in.
Yeah, try that, Jim. What's going on, Terry? What's good?
Hey, man, how you feeling, bro? Thanks. I got your thing.
Okay. Is it okay?
Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait to start editing. I cannot wait.
Okay. When's it go in?
I'm gonna probably start editing this week. It's not gonna take that long. It's not gonna take that long. You know what it is? It's gonna take a little time for me to find the music, but we'll be fine.
All right, cool. Ray, his internet is still down from the storm, I guess.
Wow. That's all right. We got Big John taking over. There you go.
What's up, Chassis John?
Not much.
What's going on?
My laptop couldn't find my camera, so I had to get out and come back in.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was weird.
Is that a Camaro I still see in the background?
Yep.
60,
Closer now than it ever was.
68 or 67?
67.
Ah.
You're getting close, huh?
And then the junk pile Trans Am.
Hey, that thing did wheelies back in its day, so there's not too much junk.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, the junk pile now. It's a place that collects cardboard boxes and things.
Hold stuff.
Until this Camaro leaves in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's good. I'm getting real far on the wiring.
Oh, good. Are you painting your car with Tamco paint?
Yes, I am.
Tammy got you straight?
No, I haven't spoken to her. But is a local guy that came highly recommended to me. And I went to his shop in Clearwater. And then we became Facebook friends. And he loves Tamco paint.
Oh, good.
He uses it all the time. Yeah.
Well, listen.
He's a really good restoration and custom paint guy. And he's a car guy. He's a Mustang dude. As a matter of fact, he's doing a Mustang with an LS.
That's been done.
Yeah. So,
John, wait till you see what I'm putting the LS in at some point.
Yeah. So we're gonna use Tamco paint to do all the colors on the car.
Oh, I'm definitely. Louis knows. Louis knows what I'm putting
yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
Be cool.
Hey Jim, you're breathing into your mic and it's echoing. Stop breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. You hear him now.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks.
John, when you get your paint through Tammy, if you get a special mix, she'll name it, for you. Like you could have a Chassis John purple, greenish, bluish, whatever color. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's I'll wind up speaking to her and my buddy Riley. There's a few colors that you got to come up with.
Yeah, she's hot on it, man. I'm telling you.
It's a really nice metallic silver, a really deep black, and then you got it's not a hot pink, but it's a candy pink, a purple, and a candy blue.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, she matched you up pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you send her a picture of that, she'll
There's
match
your
up.
wheelie. Terry, there's your wheelie.
There you go, my man.
Getting it up.
Yeah, getting it up. And then pulling the laundry on the other end.
Yeah.
There you go.
Man, that's got to be a fun ride, boy.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Until that parachute pops out.
Let me tell you something. If you've never driven a car with a parachute, it's like, well, let's see. Let's go back to the old days when they used to say that an e-ticket at Disneyland was like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Having a parachute is a really cool experience. I loved it with that car because that's like almost 3,300 pound car. So at 150 miles an hour, a 12-foot chute, when it hits, you go forward, you know. But then later on in my racing career, when I started running in like pro stocks and pro mods, and we're talking dual 12-foot chutes because you're going 212 miles an hour, that's an experience.
I bet.
You know, when you get near that finish line and you reach up and you actually throw the chutes right before the finish line because it takes a while for them to come out and get some air inside them. And then you just lift right at the finish line. You just get out of the throttle, and then it's like the count of like 1.5, and it's like God reached out and grabbed your rear bumper and said, "Stop."
Okay, you're done.
Unreal. I have photographs because I used to do a lot of 35mm photography at the drag strip, and I have photos, and I've seen them in magazines and online of cars with the back tires in the air because the parachute sometimes so hard it lifts the back of the car up.
Wow.
Really, pretty wild. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
I remember watching the pro stocks from the traps, and as the chutes opened up and they grabbed, you heard a pop.
Yes. Oh yeah. I've
like, holy shit, he broke something. Like, no, it's the chutes open.
I've broken parachutes. I've had pilot chutes snap the line. I've had panels. Like if you look at this parachute, these are what they call cross forms. These are really nice parachutes because they open up pretty quick, and they do a good job of grabbing air, but they don't. A completely round parachute has a tendency to grab more air, and those can really hurt the car. And the straps that they're on are tubular. It's nylon, woven nylon tube, so they have some stretch in them. Almost not anywhere near as much as a bungee cord, but they do have stretch. And so when they hit softer.
Yeah, not a harsh.
Yeah, on a cross form they hit a little bit softer, but you'll feel it. There's just there's no way around it. When that thing hits, it hit. You get that little pucker in your butt when you throw that parachute and you're at like the count of 3 and you don't feel anything.
Oh boy!
Then you got a problem. But I've had actual panels in parachutes blow out. Sometimes you're racing into the wind.
Can't you just throw it in reverse?
Yeah, parachutes are they don't last forever, and then you got to realize once you slow down, like below 20 or 25 miles an hour, they're just dragging on the racetrack. So you're rubbing them on the asphalt, so they wear out. It's a replaceable part. You can't keep them forever.
I bet. I was talking to Ron.
Out of it? You get like one season out of a parachute?
Well, it depends on how often you use them and how fast your car is. No, I had the parachute that I had on the car was on the car literally for like 3 years.
Okay.
Before I had to replace it, it was starting to fray. The pilot chute, which is like a little thing with leather straps and a spring. Those get beat up because they're banging around off the racetrack as the car is slowing down. So those, if you can get a season to a season and a half out of them, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's other systems like they've over the years they came out with launchers where they had like a spring-loaded piece. They still have them. It's like a cannon that shoots a bag out, and then the parachute is inside the bag, and then that blossoms. And all the pro stocks and a lot of the pro mods now, they use a CO2-powered piston that literally ejects the chute bag right out of the holder. There's a lot going on when the wind comes, when the air comes over the back of the car and off the wing, depending on your wing design and how much angle of attack you have. You can get some negative turbulence directly behind. If you don't have your parachutes mounted properly, the wind will literally drive them into the wheelie bars or onto the pavement, and they don't blossom. And if you've seen any kind of coverage like an NHRA, every now and then it happens. A parachute will go down and literally get tangled up in wheelie bars. Pro mods for the longest time have been running, the window nets. They actually make a window net that slides over the two upper wheelie bars.
Yeah, I've seen
so
that.
you literally have a catch net so that if the parachute takes a dive into the wheelie bars, it hits the net and then it goes out and blossoms.
Oh yeah.
So, there's a lot, but I've seen cars get in accidents, where the chute or the chutes go under the car and they get tangled up in the wheelie bars. The guy jumps on the brakes. A lot of these guys run carbon fiber brakes. You cannot jump on carbon fiber brakes. You got to roll into them. If you hit them hard, they will do nothing, and then instantly they heat up and they just lock up the wheels, and there it is. Wow. You're off the track.
Yeah.
There's a lot to know.
Yeah, it's more than people think. I mean, it's technology.
You see that very often. Well, not that often, but it's happened a lot with guys that are new racers that are running pro stock, pro mod, and they get into the brakes a little heavy on the top end, and all of a sudden the car swaps lanes and crashes, at over 220, 230 miles an hour. There's tons of video out there of like NHRA pro stock guys locking up the front wheels, and that's a disaster. You cannot stand on a set of carbon fiber brakes. Absolutely not.
I was talking to Ron Capps. We were at dinner one night, and he was telling us some stories about racing. Man,
Capps is cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He was telling us that the guy that made his seat made a seat for John Forrest. John Forrest. And the way they make them is they make them for the driver, and it fits. It fits around the body.
It's a pour-in seat.
Yeah. So he said John was testing the new seat, and he comes back. He goes, "Man, that was the first time I never passed out." So having the right seat gets him, in there right where. So John said he'd pass it out every trip. He goes, "That's the first time I pass out."
A lot of professional race cars have pour-in seats.
Wow.
It's a carbon fiber, bucket kind of deal, and then there's a membrane, and you have to be you have to have all your equipment on, everything that you would actually have on while you're in that car. And it's kind of like, that expanding foam. Mm-hmm. It's similar to that.
You know about it real well, huh?
Yeah, tell me about it. And so there's it's like a bag, and they mix it up and they pour it in, and you sit in it in the driving position, belted, helmet on, your Hans device, everything, and you just have to stay in it for I think it's about 6 or 8 minutes till it kind of takes a set, and it's made for you. And same thing in NASCAR, and you'll see like if they change a driver in NASCAR, or if they do like 24 hours at Daytona, they actually pull the seat out and swap the seat from driver to driver because every driver's got their own seat.
That's not the seat; it's an insert.
Yeah, right. The insert.
They pull that out.
Yeah, they pull the insert out. So they're made for you, and supposedly that's the best way because it's contoured to you, which is going to keep you from sliding around inside the shell. Even though you got your belts on and everything, you're going to move. If you've got that seat conforming directly to your body with your fire suit on, you're not going to go anywhere. So it's all about safety. Street cars, not happening.
Stock 67 Camaro bucket with no headrest.
Yeah, I know, right? Nah, this car's got really nice seats. These really cool buckets, very nice, like black and red leather with these like rivet inserts in them, big eyelet looking things.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the TMI?
Yes, yeah, it's from TMI.
TMI.
Yeah, really, really nice. You went for the black and the red, and it's got. They did the dash cover too, because on like the 67, 68, there's not much there. The one that TMI makes is like that wide. It goes almost to the speaker grill.
Yeah.
Yet it still bolts in like stock. I put it in. It took like 5 minutes. I just popped it in and went underneath and put all those little wing nuts on.
Little wing nuts there.
Beautiful. And then he's got a center console, and then he's got a rear console. And the two of them meet up to each other. And the rear one goes between the seats and actually comes all the way up to the package tray. So you see it in the rear window. So his rear seats are legitimate separate buckets, bottoms and tops.
Buckets, yeah.
So this car's going to have 4 legit bucket seats in black and red leather with the eyelets and everything. They're really nice interior. And
TMI,
he saw it when we were walking. Yeah, he saw it when we were walking around in SEMA last year. He came and met me at SEMA, and that's where we wound up purchasing the motor for the car from the guys at Blueprint Engines. And then we were talking about interiors, and we stopped at the TMI booth, and we saw the console, and he was like, "Oh man, that's the way to go." And he literally ordered everything right there at SEMA.
Nice.
And then we were looking at gauges, and this car was gonna get Dakota Digital. But then I decided to change to the Holley digital dashboard because Holley makes, there's a couple of companies I think that make it. It's on the 67s and 68s, there's a pod right behind the steering wheel where you have your speedo and tachometer.
Right.
Well, that whole thing comes out of the car.
Comes out.
A couple screws, and Holley has one that's exactly like the factory, but it's only thing that it's made is to hold the Holley electronic dash, the digital dash. So it's a bolt-in dash replacement for the Holley digital dash. So it doesn't look like somebody tried to hack in, some type of funky looking gauge mount. It literally screws in like factory. And
that's what's nice about
it's inside. I think I have it. It's right here.
That's nice with what they're doing with certain cars. You can buy almost the whole car in parts.
Yeah, but not 77 Cadillacs, right?
Yeah. I got to fabricate everything.
Right now.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So you put it in with the 6 screws. Steering column comes up here.
Yeah.
3 on the top, and it bolts right in like factory. And you got your digital dash, and then on the back, you got your cables to make it to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got So it has two USB inputs. One of them will be for the GPS speedometer. They give you a GPS sensor with a magnet on it that you just put right up on top of the metal dashboard, and you hide the wire. Yeah. Look at that.
That's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll get to program whatever gauges I want to put on here. Coloring, style of gauges, and all that other stuff.
Nice.
So it'll be really nice.
Man, you got some money wrapped up in that car, huh?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot of money wrapped up in this thing.
That dashboard alone.
See, why don't you know what it is? I like the coated digital, not the HD, but they have two models. They have well, from the 67 Chevelle, I'm getting that. It's a VDO, I think it is, or HDX, and there's another one, VDX. I don't know, but there's one that's really the one that just came out like last year. Man, it's nice. For
I think that's the one we were looking at.
Yeah, because for 67 Chevelle, you don't have much choice. I mean, other for like 66, 67. RPM gauge, it's a knee knocker, or you go up on the dashboard or something like that.
Right.
So they have a speedo in there. I'm sorry, a RPM gauge. And it maintains still the sweeping, because I kind of like that for that car. The sweeping speedo.
Yeah. A lot of the old school cars, you get that nice sweep.
Yeah, Impalas.
God, that speedometer is like that long.
Yeah. That's
65.
How did they do that?
You know, if you really think about
start like this and get all the way over here and not be so tall.
Yeah.
In other words, you know what I'm saying? It had one end
it's dropping down as it goes.
You know, it's probably tall behind the dash.
It could be.
You know, you don't know what it looks like on the inside.
Well, you know what? I know. I understand exactly what you're talking about. The pivot point is below the gauge package. That's how they get away with it.
You know, you have to really think, man. Those guys were really smart. Those engineers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, with no digital stuff, man, they really figured it out how it works, how to make it work.
Well, think about it. We went to the moon with slide rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which a lot of people can't seem to comprehend.
Yeah.
It's like, you've never done this before, so how do you know
it's going to work?
how do you even know how far away the moon was in the 50s and the 60s?
Yeah, and how much fuel to get you there.
Right? How did you figure that one out? That's where the conspiracy theories come from.
A lot of guessing.
Yeah. You know,
I want to be the first one in that rocket ship. That's for sure.
I think we can make it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Did they have?
Let me know. I'll be here.
Did they have any kind of laser technology back then that science was using, but they weren't making anybody aware of it?
Who knows?
Like, how do you determine really how far away a spacecraft is, and who came up with the information of what does it take? What does the velocity really need to be to break away and get into orbit? And then how do you figure out? In other words, they had to go around the Earth a couple of times before they went to what they call translunar injection, where they fired a motor again to head to the moon. So you're talking about a circle, okay? Here's Earth, and the moon is up here. Somewhere around here, you had to figure out when to hit the juice.
Hit the gas.
Right?
Yeah.
Think about it. And even at the shortest distance between Earth and the moon, if you're off like a half a degree, you're heading to Mars or something.
Think about this. How did they know that their suits were going to protect them?
Well, those they tested.
Well, they tested that stuff early on.
Yeah, but how do you test it? You send it up there by itself? What I mean?
You got to put somebody in it.
You take a great big building and suck all the air out of it.
You know? Yeah. That's true, too.
How do you know?
That's what they did.
How do you know there was no air up there?
I know. How do you know anything?
Right. They're
don't know
guessing.
Them, you know?
You know what
They're
they
like-
say? you don't know till you know.
Yeah.
Again, I've been down in there. I'll be waiting on that. I'll go with the third trip. Third trip. Yeah.
Yeah. People were paying Elon
You
Musk.
didn't want to be the third trip. That was Apollo 13.
Is it true? I would have said that, then I would have retired. I've been like, okay, I'm too old for this.
Yeah. There ain't no way I'm getting in something. My friend Q from Pimp My Rod, he got in the helicopter, man. The helicopter went down, broke his leg. He was like, man, I ain't get nothing else if it's not bigger than 747. Yeah, man. He got in a helicopter accident.
Wow.
Broke his leg. It's one of the ones that you rent like at SEMA. Not at SEMA, but like in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. You go for the ride around the canyon and everything.
Yeah, the thing crashed.
Oh, my God.
How high was he up when he was like, we're going down?
I don't know. But everybody made it. Nobody got killed or anything, but he broke his leg pretty good. Yep. You remember Q? Remember Q that he used to walk around the car and tell everybody what they did to the car? Yeah, that's it.
I know. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I had to get him back on the show. He came on early when we first started. Good dude, man. All them guys that Pimp My Rod, they're all pretty good dudes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
Hey, you know who you should try and get? That guy that owns that shop where they do Pimp My Ride.
Oh, Ryan? Yeah.
No. They talk about
Gas. The new one.
Galpin Ford. Yeah.
Yeah. Gas.
Galpin
Yeah.
Ford. You got to get that. What's that dude's name? He looks like a modern day pirate. Got the long hair and that looking beard thing going.
I think it's Mike. No, Mad Mike works there. I'm cool.
Yeah, Mad Mike works there.
Yeah, I forget what that dude's name is. The owner though.
That would be a cool guy to bring in.
Yeah,
I've seen his series. They're not doing it now. I don't know if it's over or it's just between seasons.
Well, they got something else coming on right now.
They've got a collection of cars that's second to none.
Oh yeah.
They got all the Big Daddy Ed Roth stuff in their showroom.
Well, I know his dad or maybe his grandfather started the business. It's been around a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Since like the 40s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're no joke. I think a lot of their cars at the Ford booth when at SEMA, the big Ford booth. I think a lot of that stuff is theirs.
They've done some crazy stuff.
Yep. So, man, what we're gonna do? We don't have SEMA. It's getting depressing, huh?
I don't know. Have they said anything about PRI yet? I haven't seen anything.
Oh no.
As far as I know, PRI is still on.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna happen either, man. Because I thought for a while, how could it, man?
Yeah, there's no way they'd be able to do it.
If the numbers across the country were better,
that's what I'm saying.
I think it would be a different story. But they're still not good enough. And the thing that pisses me off is the news no longer says anything about any other country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like you have to kind of do your own independent research and find some other news outlets through the internet that are talking about what's going on in Europe and everything. Because you don't know. They stopped after Italy.
Yeah.
And then started getting close to the election. The news cycle shifted. And now you don't hear a thing about what's going on outside of the United States because it's just let's bash Trump, let's push Biden, and let's talk about how many people died today in Florida.
You know what's funny is we don't hear about people that died in Florida.
Really?
Only thing I'm hearing is how many people were infected, but I'm not hearing the deaths or.
Oh well, I watch a local newscast to see what's going on because they're like one of the better news groups from the Bay. And then at 6:30, I turn on ABC and listen to what's the guy on ABC, the young guy. He looks like he could be a Kennedy, but he's not. I forget the guy's name. But every night he gives you the death toll. That's like one of his things, and they're constantly talking about Florida. Yet I'm finding out that our cases are dropping and the people that are dropping dead is dwindling also. So we're doing good.
That's good.
But you know,
so think about
they like
this
to
one.
make an example out of Florida and California and
Yeah,
a couple other places.
Think about SEMA. How many buyers and sellers come from overseas? You know what I mean? They would have probably blocked them from coming in.
Well, that's the reason that I had, even if they were having SEMA, me and Barb said not going to go. There's just so many people from so many places that come there. And to me, it just looks like if they had it, it was going to wind up becoming a hotbed, and a lot of people are going to wind up getting sick. It would start all over again. That's a huge, huge show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm waiting to find out if they're going to cancel the Consumer Electronics Show.
Oh yeah, CES
bigger. CES has more people come into Vegas than SEMA. SEMA is the number 2 show. CES is number 1.
I didn't know that. I thought SEMA was 1.
Did you hear about CES from this year?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, the Consumer Electronics Show is in January.
Yeah.
Nobody knew nothing about COVID in January. But they all went to the show. Everybody went home. Everybody got sick.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
Well, there's the stuff that I've been reading says that Vegas was one of the centers that allowed COVID to spread around the world because of the conventions at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And they all leave and go back to Europe. They go back to Japan. They go back to everywhere. So
now, I don't know if you guys seen Tammy. She did a post on Facebook or a video. She's having some kind of class down there where she's at for painters and I guess industry people. So she said since we're not having SEMA, she's putting all her money into having some classes. So if you want to learn how to paint, you can go there.
Wow.
And she's putting together a pretty big thing, I think.
That's
and
cool.
where's she located?
Either North Carolina or
Virginia.
Tennessee. Is it Virginia? Yeah, it might be Virginia. Yeah, somewhere in that area. Yeah.
Let's find out.
That would be a nice trip.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
we could have a plane and traffic show party there, and we could all learn how to do something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I might look into going. I'm going to call her tomorrow and see, get all the details.
Yeah, get that information. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because not far for for everybody. East Coast.
Whether you're driving or flying, that's not a far ride at all.
Yeah. So I'll get some more information. I'll have something for us next week.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
I would love to learn how to use a gun the right way.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
I mean, I kind of taught myself through the years doing some stuff, but
yeah, if you can learn a couple little tricks.
I know how to lay lacquer. I could put a primer coat on and then sand it and do like a guide coat.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of spritz some paint on and then go back and longboard it, and you find the low spots, and you go back in there with the putty and get the car straight. And I've done lacquer years and years ago because lacquer was so easy. You spray it on lightly, it dries, you put another coat, and then you wet sand it, and then you clear over it. So no big deal. But, the stuff that they have now, base coat, clear coat, water-based stuff, I don't know anything about mixing ratios, hardeners, all of that. My experience with hardeners is 2-part epoxy, like bar top stuff or Bondo.
They make it easy now, though. It's on the can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's on the can.
Weird.
Yeah, so I'll get some information on it.
Do that.
See what she's talking about. Yeah, that'd be a nice little getaway.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still trying to find out where she's located. I think she's in Virginia.
Hey, John, I got a question for you. I'd like to do an octagon tank, fish tank.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, 50 gallons. Is that normal? Is that normal size? 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a 100-gallon tank, and I loved it, man. And I went to SEMA one year, and we moved. We were moving, and I went to SEMA. And I forgot to tell my son to go over to the house and and take care of the fish and make sure the heat was on.
Yeah,
I got home, they were all floating, man, dead.
Oh God!
I had a I call them sucky fishes. What are the acostamas?
Oh yes, plecos. Yeah.
Man, he was an easy 10 inches, 11 inches. He was huge.
That's too big for a 50 gallon tank.
No, it was a 100-gallon tank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So man, I miss my tank. So I like to do a small octagon.
Yeah.
So you come across any used ones, man, let me know.
Looks like Norfolk.
I don't know if you can buy them anymore. I'll
No?
look. I'll find out from the manufacturers we deal with.
Okay.
'Cause they used to, the companies that make the glass tanks, they would bang them out, and you just go pick them up at the warehouse.
Yeah.
But I think they got away from making them. But you can buy them. I mean, they're not hard. You can make them out of acrylic. They'll just glue all the pieces together, and it's crystal clear. You can't even see. See, the thing with the glass ones is everywhere there was 2 panels, there was a silicone seam.
Yeah.
And after a while, they have a tendency to kind of split. They don't last that long. That particular shape, because it's kind of cylindrical, but you've got all these flat panels. So there's a lot of hydraulic pressure against the joints. I think that's one of the reasons why they discontinued octagon-shaped tanks, even bow fronts. You won't have glass bow fronts anymore either.
Yeah.
So now they do all that stuff in acrylic. And when you glue the acrylic, you're actually, you're chemically welding it, chemically bonding it. And the seams, if you're good, the seams are really crystal clear.
Oh, yeah.
The guys I used to work with out in Vegas and a couple of the companies that I still deal with out of Arizona and out of South Florida, they're works of art. They're amazing, But pandemic and oil prices for acrylic and stuff, they're expensive now. Really expensive. Yeah. All the acrylic stuff, the prices have gone up. Supply and demand. You got factories now. That huge acrylic factory in Texas that's still burning.
Oh yeah.
That's going to jack up acrylic prices. That's a major manufacturer of acrylic panels. Yeah. So probably in the next couple of months, the price of acrylic sheet that these guys use is gonna get jacked, and then the prices are gonna get jacked. It's the way it is.
Yeah.
Tammy's in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, I've never been to Virginia Beach.
It's just like Port Smith, Virginia Beach, Hampton area. It's nice. That's where I went to college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I would go.
What's funny is my wife said she wants to go to what's the other beach up from that? Ocean City. Ocean City. Is that right around there?
Isn't that Maryland?
Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland. That's
higher up.
Okay. Yeah. Not too
crab
far.
Shanty, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll stop and see Brian and bounce on the way down.
Some soft shell crabs, man. What's up, man? Do it.
They have a really huge car show up there, but over the last couple of years, it's gotten really horrible. It's like the cops and the people of the town, they don't want the cars there. And they're writing tickets for everything. So everybody's moving to OBX, whatever that is. Outer Banks.
Outer Banks? Yeah.
Yeah, Outer Banks. What state is that in?
I think that's Jersey. No, hold on a second.
Outer Banks is North
North
Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yeah, I think so.
So they had one, I think, last year and the year before, and it was a huge turnout. So everybody got everybody.
Hold on a second. OBX.
I think
In my world, OBX is Outer Bridge Crossing, so I don't want to say nothing else.
Yeah, right. That's what I think when I see OBX. I think Outer
That's the
Bridge.
first thing I thought. I was like, Outer Bridge Crossing? Why are we going there?
You know how many times
I was like, what is
going over that bridge? I was worried about banging a trailer off those concrete guardrails.
Oh yeah. God. Oh, you haven't been up here in a while? They
No.
replaced the Goethals Bridge.
Ooh.
It's freaking beautiful.
Oh wow.
It's 2 spans now. It's 3 lanes. The lanes are like 12 feet wide.
Oh great.
That Gotham's Bridge was a mess. Oh my God!
I had a trip to Jersey a couple months ago, and I was like, hey, I haven't been over to New Gothels yet. I went over. It's like, wow, this is great. This is wonderful. On the way back, I took Outer Bridge. I was like, I'm never going over this bridge again. This is plain.
So the Outer Bridge is still the way it always was?
Oh, it's the same old piece of shit bridge it's always been.
Oh, my God. Lewis, this bridge, I think this bridge was built in the 20s.
Really?
Something like that, yeah.
And it's got these horrible cement sidewalls, guardrails.
Yeah.
And the lanes are really narrow.
Yep.
And you try to roll, literally a tractor trailer, which is going to be the widest of a typical, trailer. It's like you got about 6 or 7 inches on either side of the tractor trailer.
Yeah. They usually take up both lanes.
Right. So you're rolling through there and you got yourself a
there you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That don't look safe.
Guarantee you the same designer of that bridge did the Tappan Zee Bridge, because Tappan Zee Bridge looks just like that.
Yeah.
It's the cable stayed bridge.
Yep, the Tappan Zee looks exactly like that. One lane's 4. I think one span is 4 lanes, and the other one is like 3. I guarantee the same guy, same company did this bridge.
Oh, yeah, that bridge they build that bridge all over the place now. By the way, you know why it's called Outer Bridge Crossing?
No.
The guy who designed it, his name was Outer Bridge.
Oh, get out.
I swear to God. And there's a plaque on the side of the toll plaza, or at least where the toll plaza used to be, that has his name. It's Otto Outerbridge.
Oh my
Find his name. I swear to God.
cool,
Look it up.
I did get to drive over to New when you come into off out of Long Island, heading into like the city. What is that Kosciuszko Bridge?
Oh yeah. Same thing. It looks exactly the same.
Yeah. That was cool that they built a new one and then dropped the old one.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Back probably about a year ago, when only one of the spans of the new Tappan Zee was built.
Yeah.
The new bridge was open, but the old bridge, the middle section of the old bridge, was still there.
Oh wow.
And this was like middle of the night, because we was working night that time. And it was so weird seeing the old bridge, because it's no lights, no nothing. It's like a ghost.
Just hanging there.
Still hanging there, like, oh,
just hanging there.
Weird.
That's crazy.
They go to Outer Bridge.
There you go.
Well,
It's an old bridge, but we used to take that bridge going out to Englishtown, New Jersey all the time.
Oh yeah, that was the way to go. That was the way.
Isn't that 2 lanes each way?
Yeah, it is 2 lanes in each direction.
Yep.
Sunday nights, it was a crawl.
Oh
my God, getting on the Cross Bronx Expressway, nothing but traffic. Horrible.
You said
That was the worst part about living on
morning,
Long Island.
3 hours to get home.
Going racing. It took forever to get home. There was always construction, always traffic. And I know there's still construction on the Cross Bronx. It's never not.
And there's still traffic.
Ridiculous.
Although it was nice with the COVID, and especially in the beginning. Nothing.
Well, we still have relatively light traffic on the highways. It's come up in terms of volume from when everybody was kind of shut down and it was only guys like me who were out working. So it was awesome. But it's still light. We don't have the kind of traffic. It's weird because the amount of traffic that we have now is like the level of traffic when I moved here in 2004. And I'm like, wow. When I got here in 2004, and I'm like, this is rush hour? This is awesome. It's great. And then progressively got worse through the years. Still not to the point where it's like New York traffic, but it is. There's traffic. And down here, nobody knows how to drive.
Yeah.
I don't get it. There's people from every state. They all move here, and they all forget how to drive when they get here.
They slow it down, man. They're just like, let me.
Let
they
me
get
tell you.
hippie-ized.
I'm gonna start putting up videos. There's stuff that just aggravates me. I use I-4 a lot because it's east-west to get from my customers back to my shop or to the house. And there's one section where you're cruising along at like 75 miles an hour, and then the road makes a sweeping right, and it goes uphill. and everybody slams on the brakes. And I'm like, what are you doing? And you think, well, okay, everybody went from 75 down to like 35. Well, maybe there's something on the other side of the hill. You get to the top of the hill, there's nothing going on, and there's no cars in front of you. They get to the top of the hill, and they hit the gas pedal, and they're right back up to 75, 80 miles an hour. It's like,
what is it? Sun hitting them? You know, something?
It's like they think that they're going to fall off the edge of the earth or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. And it happens every day after work when the volume starts to pick up. It does that inchworm deal where you're cruising along, then you're on the brakes. Then you're cruising along, then you're on the brakes. And you get to the top of the hill. There's no accident. There's no cops. There's nothing going on. Why did you slow down?
All it takes is one person.
Yep.
Yep.
It takes one person. That's it.
Yeah. Horrible. So that's like a real thing that kind of pisses me off almost every day coming home. But I got to deal with that. There's no reason for it. and now with this COVID stuff,
we got to get his podcast together.
I know. I'm winging along all day long. I don't care what you think. I'm going 80 in a 70, 80 to 82 in a 70 mile an hour zone, and I'm getting passed by Beamers and Nissans. Oh, yeah. These dudes are going 110 or 120, and nobody uses turn signals. They'll just come up on you and shut the back door and keep going, and it's sweeping across 3 lanes, you know. And now the older I get, it's like, how come there's no freaking cops around?
Hey, that used to be you.
You know? It's like there's this line from George Carlin. If they're not going fast enough in front of you, they're a creep. If they pass you by, they're a maniac.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's unreal.
Well, I was at the dealership when I was getting my truck, and one of my friends, he's the manager of the dealership, and we've known each other since high school. And so we were talking. I was like, dude, I'll turn 50 this year. This was last year. He's like, I did too, man. He goes, I used to laugh at my dad's friends. They would come over with, I'm 50 on the shirt, and now we're that guy.
There you go. 1958.
Vintage.
Yeah, I just had my birthday last week, man. I'm 62 now.
62. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'd have never thought that.
Yeah, 62. I don't feel it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the key.
But I got a very young mind.
Yeah,
to me, I'm still. I mean, look at me jumping in and out of this car, underneath it, bending around, doing stuff. I'm still 25, you know, and I should be doing what I'm doing. But
there you go.
Yeah, that's cool.
If you can.
Nah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get this. Like I said, I'm working on this wiring harness. I got all the main cabling in and all of the junction boxes for negatives and positives, and I ran a braided ground from the battery to the trunk floor to ground out the floor pan. I ran from the negative cable up front by the firewall right to the chassis. So I got a chassis ground now because this whole chassis is powder coated. So even though you're even though you're bolting things together, you're working with powder coating. And it's not like you want to pull the powder coating off. You're bolting it all together. And then it sits on aluminum. No, they're not. They're polyurethane bushings. Yeah. So there's really good chances that there's, not good electricity flow negatively through the chassis and everything. That's why I used braided, steel braid, these things.
Get some thick steel braided ones. There you go. There you go.
I got them in all different lengths. They got really nice eyelets.
Yeah.
So I got from the negative on the battery to the floor, and then I ran one or battery cables, positive and negative, to the up near the firewall by the floorboard, and then I put a negative junction box and a positive junction box, and I grounded the chassis, and then I grounded the motor on both sides with same kind of braid ground strap from the block to the frame. And then in the back, I got one that goes from the head to the block. So this thing's grounded. I don't got to worry about electric flow whatsoever. And yesterday was the first time I turned the key. I took the plugs out and put oil in the motor because they ship it dry. And I turned the key to test the starter because it's got one of those mini starters.
Yeah.
But it's a 3 horsepower mini starter.
Yeah.
This thing's a monster. It's made for big cubic inch engines. And I couldn't believe on a 12-volt battery how fast that thing was spinning the motor over.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's good. So he's not going to have any trouble starting this engine. It's only 11.5 to 1. It's a pump gas motor, but it's 638 cubic inches. It's a big motor. There's a lot of air pumping through that thing.
Yeah.
You know? So I made a couple of phone calls, and then I pulled the trigger on a really good Powermaster mini starter, but a real strong one made specifically for big inch motors. So I don't have to worry about it. And it worked out really good. It was very easy to literally tune the starter to the flex plate. You know, when I first bolted it up, it wasn't going into the flywheel far enough. In other words, like the nose of the starter gear was about that far from the back side of the flywheel. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to engage, like 3/4 of the flywheel. I wanted 100% engagement.
Because you'll start tearing that flywheel out.
Right. So I had to drop the starter out and then take off the aluminum block. And then behind that there's a shim in there.
There you go.
That shim out, which moves the starter motor further back into the flywheel. And then I had to do the deal where you got to take like a paper clip. You pull the gear out, and you should be able to put a paper clip between the tooth, the tip of the tooth and the base of the flywheel. They need that kind of clearance. So I had to put like a 4,000 starter shim to drop the starter that much in order to get that clearance, because it was touching. The tip and the root, they were right up against each other. So when you don't do that, you get that when you turn the starter on, it's like, that's way too much gear contact. So within about 30 minutes, I had this thing tuned up perfect, ready to roll.
Beautiful.
And without even, using the starter, just by taking a screwdriver and popping the gear out, measuring it up. So I was real happy when I turned the key yesterday. I shot a little video for the owner.
Yeah.
He was like, we're getting close. Like, you're getting closer, right? Well,
Sweet.
yeah, I used an American Auto Wire harness, and I had to pull a lot of it out. There's just a bunch of stuff in there that wasn't necessary.
Really?
It's the muscle car upgrade one. So they give you all of these extra circuits, and there's a whole bunch of. See, the problem is, if this was just a carbureted engine, then that harness would have been used almost fully. Mm-hmm. But because it's fuel injected, the fuel injection system has its own harness that does everything. Okay, and they even give you on the Holly harness that you get. It's got like a 22-foot long wire from the relay to turn on your fuel pump in your fuel tank.
Yep.
So, and on their harness is that relay that's going to energize your fuel pump. Now, American Auto Wire, on the harness that comes from the driver's side footwell all the way to the back to the taillights, they include an electric fuel pump wire in there, and they give you a whole circuit. So since we're not using that, I actually pulled that circuit completely out of the system. And then there's a whole array of wires and sockets and plugs and lights for your gauges.
So you're not using those either.
Any of those gauges. So that was like 20 feet of wire. Then you've got typically on a GM, your purple wire goes to your starter solenoid. So that comes out of the firewall. But on this car, I'm wiring it like we wire a race car. We actually use a Ford starter solenoid mounted inside the car with a short wire we put a firewall bulkhead, and you run a short wire from the firewall directly to the starter. And the wire that you energize the solenoid, you don't use that as a separate wire. You just make a little loop from the solenoid plug on the starter directly to where the battery cable comes into the starter. And that wire doesn't get energized until that Ford solenoid turns on. So you run a line directly from the battery to the Ford solenoid, and then from the key
to the ignition.
Right. So I had to modify their harness for that. He's got an aftermarket shifter that has a separate reverse light switch and neutral safety switch. So those purple wires are going to wind up running down into the console area where the shifter is, along with the reverse light, wiring. So there was a whole bunch of stuff. And then he's got those dual electric fans. So I'm like, okay, I have the wire that would normally go from the alternator into the system on this wiring harness. Well, that's not being used either, because we're running a heavier wire, a number 4, off the alternator down to where the battery cables are. So that circuit, what I did was I disconnected it at the backside and flipped it around so I could have battery 12 volts coming out of a heavy wire, a number 10 wire, out of the firewall to feed the two relays that are going to power the electric fans. Well, looking through, I bought the box, the controller, the whole deal, getting ready to mount it, on the frame and start wiring it. And then I'm reading the master instruction book on the Holley fuel injection system. And in the harness from Holley is lines for 2 different fans. And on this little handheld, give you this thing for doing your setup.
Yeah.
And you use a stylus. So there's 2 fan circuits that are pre-built into the system, and you determine fan 1 what temperature it goes on and off, fan 2 what temperature it goes on and off.
That's pretty slick.
The harness is the 2 lines to feed the negatives to a set of relays. So now it's just a matter of mounting 2 30-amp relays and feeding the power into that, and then trigger is the negative side coming out of the fuel injection unit. So there's a lot of wiring that I was able to literally just strip away. Like, how on the GMs you got the 2 plugs on the firewall. One is for the body. Up front would be all your turn signals, your headlights, your marker lights, all of that. And then on the other side is your engine side of the harness. There's only 3 wires coming out on the engine side of the harness.
Wow.
And they're not even being utilized for the engine. They're being utilized for other stuff. The oil pressure sender goes to the digital dash. You create an oil pressure gauge. So that gets wired into the harness on the digital dash. Water temperature is part of the fuel injection system. There's literally a plug on this EFI unit that plugs into their temperature sensor. And then that signal will tell the fuel injection what to do. But when you do the plug and play with the digital dash, that temperature sensor signal will create a water temperature gauge on your dashboard. So there's a lot of wires on that harness that were totally unnecessary. I probably would have been better off if I bought one of his builder kits.
You know what it is, John? I got that same kit in my 69 Camaro. So what happens is, at American, I got the classic update kit. They don't give you the bus fuse. They give you, it's for fuel injection and everything.
Yep.
And what they do is, it's for the 68, 69 Camaro. That's one. All right, so now there's different lights, there's different tail lights, there's different lights that came on 67, 68, where 69 has maybe more. So they give you everything to cover that, not to mention all of your dashboard options. So if you had a regular standard Camaro and you had the sweeping dashboard, the kit got that. But then, well, not sweeping dashboard, but just a regular dashboard. But if you had like the deluxe model with the gauges and everything like that, it covers all that. So they give you everything exactly. You get everything. Not to
mention, with that really strange GM plug.
Yep.
It's got like all of the sensor things on it that plugs into the back panel.
Yep.
And then if you were going to use, like aftermarket gauges, auto meter or whatever, then they give you
that for too. They give you that for every. Yeah, they cover you. Yeah.
All of that area right there where the gauge panel would be, there was a boatload of wires that I did not need. So there I was with my little pick, picking all of these circuits, picking all these wires out of the wiring harness, rolling them up, and putting them off on the side. There's probably going to be like 5 or 6 fuses that never get put into that fuse box.
Yeah, they give you extra fuses. Matter of fact, that's how I ran my my electric fan. I ran it off of the big orange one that comes on with the key-on crank.
Right.
So that way, like if the car overheats after you turn it off, you hear it start up for a second and then it cools it off.
Yeah, there's a pigtail. There's a pigtail coming off the fuse box with like 5 or 6 circuits in it for your extra accessories. And I don't even need any of that.
They got a fuse for electric windows. They got one for electric door locks. They got one for they cover it. They cover it.
Oh yeah, everything's covered. It's ridiculous.
That's why I love them.
So it's good. Yeah, it was well worth the money. And I like the fact that they give you extra long harnesses, and then you cut it, and then you put the sockets. Your light sockets for your headlights, your turn signals, all of that. They give you all the original equipment, like upgraded GM stuff, and you crimp it together.
They did their work on that. That kit, they did their homework. They definitely did.
Yeah, they really did. The only thing that I didn't like is they just make it an option. That braided sleeving that you put over harnesses to make them look good, that's not part of it. That's a whole separate deal. And then I found other companies that sold larger quantity and more sizes for less money than what they were charging for the same sleeving. So I went with a different company. I got like a whole box of 7 different sizes, and each one is 10 feet in length, and a total of 50 feet of each size. 5 10-foot bags of 7 different sizes of sleeving.
Yeah.
So I went out and I bought a hot knife, so you could cut that and melt the end so it doesn't fray apart.
Right.
And I've been making circuits, I've been measuring that stuff and sliding it on, and then doing my soldering and crimping and the whole deal, and then bringing it back so it covers the whole harness up. So it's going to look really nice. I like to hide stuff.
It's really cool kit.
Yeah, great kit though. I got 0 complaints about their wiring harness. It's phenomenal. Really good.
Gentlemen, I'm looking at the clock. I got to put this little boy to bed. He's running around. I hear him upstairs, and I shouldn't be.
Yeah, totally understand.
But as always, please be easy in the chat room. Everyone in the chat room, what's up? Yeah, all right?
All right.
Take care.
All right, peace.
See you, man.
We'll get Brian in, then I'm going to jump out too. I think Brian's still here. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, that 5 o'clock comes quick.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm going to bail out of here in a little while. I'll stay for a little bit.
I can't believe Ray has no internet, man. That's hard.
Yeah.
We had so many problems up here with Isas.
Yeah.
They trees down all over the place, knocked down.
Oh yeah. So my mom had no electricity for 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, a lot of people.
But she got a generator system, so life was no change.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey, bro.
All right.
Staying out of trouble?
One of the problems that we have up here.
Yeah, I talked to Ray earlier today on my way home, and he said it was crazy. He says he's hoping that when the guy comes tomorrow, that it's something simple, and he hopes it's not something stupid like a modem where he could have just gone down and exchanged it. But
yeah, he said his daughter. He said his daughter's killing his his data package.
His data package is wiped out, dude.
Yeah.
So I told him. I said, you probably don't know. You probably have unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I think that's kind of standard now, ain't it?
Yeah. Unlimited's the way to go.
So who knows?
Hey, Brian, I think I'm gonna order one of those air guns off you.
The blowers?
Yeah, the turbo.
Yeah. I'll try to hook up with you, or just send me your info, and I'll send one out to you.
Wait a minute.
I think you sent me I got your email address. I'll try to email you tonight, and you'll have it then. It's been absolutely crazy, I tell you.
Yeah.
I've been busier than, it's great, but I'm kind of like, when is it going to hit the wall, you know?
Yeah. When's your sleep going to catch up?
Yeah, I tell you, man, I've been running crazy. I think I had another $12,000 a week, and that's nothing big. That's just hand tools. That's nothing. That's not, toolboxes and other equipment. That's just all nickel dime stuff. So
that's good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, get you back up, huh?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like when you own a business and you're like, how am I going to pay for last month?
Yeah, right.
You just got to make sure it keeps rolling.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's the American dream, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'll when we get done here, Luz, I'll email you so you have it, and then you can just shoot me your address stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
So
we might be heading down your way. We were talking about Tammy. Did you hear us talking about Tammy?
Yeah.
So I'll get some more info on it, and
that would be
I got to pay. Yeah, it would be a nice trip. I got to pass you up to get there.
They have, like I said, it's in September, I think. It was the Cruise of the 50s, and it's all the muscle cars. And that wasn't the problem. The problem became when the Rice Rockets and Tuner Boys started coming down the same time.
Right.
And they were actually kicked out of Ocean City, and they moved up to Ocean City in New Jersey. But what they do is they, just to terrorize and cause trouble, they come through and then go up to when they're on their way to New Jersey, Ocean City in New Jersey. There's two Ocean Cities. There's one in New Jersey and Maryland.
I got a friend that went to the Maryland show for years.
Yeah.
Got a Pro Street 65 Mustang. Last year, the police stopped him going into his hotel parking lot and told him, don't even take this car off the trailer.
Yep.
If you do, we're going to impound it.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went in the hotel, he canceled his reservation, turned around, and drove back to wherever he lived.
Yeah, they it was what was that called? H2O Fest or something like that. It's a water cooled, import show, and that really
ticked everybody off.
Yeah, well, it really got out of hand. I mean, all in general.
Well, with the show, the other show, there's a lot of guys with hot rods and Pro Street style cars, and they act like morons. They're doing 200-foot burnouts right down Main Street.
Right.
There's a gathering. They go to a gas station. I'm trying to think of it's a really, really big gas station.
Yeah.
Like a racetrack gas station or a Thornton's or a Wawa.
It's like a Wawa.
Yeah. And they basically, I guess the people that own the gas station don't care. They close the gas station down basically. And they have a huge show under those beautiful, white LED lights.
Yeah.
And this idiot would come in there with I think it's a Nova, with a blower, like on a blower with a tunnel ram type manifold. So the blower scoops like 1.5 feet above the roof of the car. But you can't see around this thing. And he's out there doing donuts with it, and he's running open headers and slicks. And they impounded the dude's car. He got it back out of impound, and he's just an idiot. He's just an absolute instigating idiot, you know. And
There's
that caused all of this trouble.
There's it was like a couple years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. There's a YouTube video, and it's King of the Streets, and it's a G-body car. I don't know what, but it's and it's got one of these blowers type things on it, and it's actually kind of neat because out of everything going on, all of a sudden you hear this car, and you don't know where it's coming from because it's echoing off all the buildings and everything, and just out of one of the side alleys. He's got one headlight out, just out of the side alley. Here he comes, he's idling, but it's just so loud. It deadens everything else that's going on. And he comes out, and of course, it's the 300-foot burnout all the way down the street, and he comes into that gas station. Complete mayhem when that happened, dude. And that car, that was pretty badass. But again,
crazy.
They go down there, and the people that own stores down there want it because it's a big crowd and they need the revenue. But they just come in, and the local guys, man, the homeowners there, they just trash everything, dude. And it's really sad. It just you can't get it. You just can't have both.
No.
Yeah. There's no common courtesy anymore. And, once that's gone, it's a wrap.
That's the problem.
Yeah, we had a place up here. It's 3 miles from my house, where every Sunday morning, where we would meet. It's a huge parking lot. It's just kind of like one of these coffee and donut, Sunday morning things, and anything and everything's there. It's unbelievable what goes. And but couple night, that's during Sunday morning. And then, like, one Wednesday night, they had some event up there, and they just trashed the parking lot. And the owner said, "Don't ever come back again." And, they had the cops in there the next that Sunday. He said, "I don't care who it was." And trashed it. And it was, like I said, it pissed a lot of people off because that's what we do Sunday mornings.
Well, for years, there's been all kinds of places where, guys would congregate with their cars and just hang out. You always get an idiot that does a burnout or revs it up or whatever. But now, like with this COVID, they stopped everything. There's been cruise nights that I was going to for years, and now they just decided, we don't want you to do it anymore.
We had about 150 cars last Sunday, man. Last Sunday morning was unreal. We had about 150 cars up there.
On Long Island, they closed out everything.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to say something. Come through. But
we have them here every Sunday. I'm like missing out on everything. Every Saturday, every Sunday, there's like 6 or 7 different cars and coffee that you can go to, and you'll get a complete mix. There'll be guys showing up with like Lamborghinis, Porsches, brand new Mustangs, new Camaros, muscle cars, pro street cars. Guys will tow in race cars, unload them off the trailer. Not a problem. Nobody acts like an idiot. It's really good.
Well, that's the key. As long as no one acts like an idiot, you got a pretty good show going.
That's it. Yeah. And they're everywhere.
It takes one or two.
There's like 4 of them, literally like within a 10-mile radius of where I live that I could go to on a Saturday or a Sunday. There's stuff to go to.
That's nice.
I don't have a car to bring. I don't think rolling up there in a big black GMC pickup truck is gonna
do it.
All right, guys, I'm gonna bail because
good talking to you.
Said 5 o'clock. Around real fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump
too. Fun.
But I'll see who else is in the chat room. Maybe I can let somebody else in. John Day, you want in?
Bring him in.
Let's see. I'll just hit the button and see if he pops in. All right, guys.
He's got paperwork.
Oh, okay.
Story of my life, paperwork.
Papa Squirrel, you want to jump in?
I just moved it from one end of the desk to the other end of the desk. That's my idea of paperwork today.
Right.
I got all my paperwork done right after dinner.
Yeah, I tell you. I look at it.
Clean and green. I got nothing to worry about now.
That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. So, you say you got a bad signal. I guess that's it.
Well, hey, I got a couple people that might come on next week, so I don't want to promise anything, but I got somebody lined up, hopefully. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week, and I'll have some information on Tamco. I'll give her a call tomorrow and see what's going on with her. But I know she's putting together I don't know, class or something, I guess.
Yeah, find out about that.
Yeah. All right, folks, I appreciate you. I'm gonna see you guys next week.
All right, thanks.
Man, they already gone the shit show. They already got the state flag. I mean the state, United States with the red and blue states already marked in it already.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God, man.
I watched it the first night. I got disgusted. Well, actually, I DVR'd it.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran through it afterwards, and I'm like, this is like one giant infomercial.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, well.
And then I tuned in on the second night, and within 5 minutes, I was so pissed off. I made this huge Facebook post. I don't know if you read it. A lot of people. I got text messages. A lot of people read it. I'm afraid to comment. So yeah, I really kind of laid it to the lefties hard because it was just lie after lie, especially Obama's wife with her bullshit.
Yeah, well, tonight the man is speaking, so we got.
Yeah. Oh wow, he's speaking in a pre-recorded speech that's been edited.
Yeah, I want to see how good. I want to see if he knows where he's at. I just,
Yeah, exactly.
that guy. I tell you.
I don't know. Is he doing a live speech?
Supposedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's
up one of his basement recordings.
He's. I think they're all in Delaware. I mean, they're at the convention.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard that it was just going to be him on stage and the press in the audience.
Yeah, well, and they're like spaced out like a drive-in movie theater, like a car drive-in movie theater. They all have their own little, and it's kind of weird. And they have
and they show the press corps at the White House when they're shooting questions at the and they're like 10 feet apart and they're all wearing masks.
Yeah,
like you guys are so sad.
They had, and then of course after they talk, they have the I don't know. 50 Zoom screens where people are you can zoom in or whatever. Well, yeah. I was really surprised. I wanted to see you up there, John. I mean,
right. Nobody
there waving.
You know what was funny? People were making fun of it, and I noticed it on the very first night when it was at the end, and everybody was clapping. They went to that Zoom screen, and it was like 12 people, and there was one dude dead center, and he was just sitting there like this.
I didn't see that. That's
and
funny.
I'm like, doesn't he know he's supposed to be waving and happy, or is he like one of us, and he's just got his way in there, and he's just sitting there going, mm-hmm.
He answered all the right questions.
Right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but it's kind of this is with my wife's work, they can't do anything with the communication side of it.
Right.
So it's been like down for the next 2 weeks because this week and the next week they can't have any kind of scheduling or any kind of turn ups or anything like that with And my wife is like, I just can't wait to get this all over with.
My wife's the same way.
Huh?
My wife's the same way because they said they were closing school. So they did this deal with Zoom with the kids and the teacher, and they gave them a program to use. And she taught till the school year was over. Well, they've been fighting back and forth whether they're going to open the school or not open the school. And my wife's one of the ones that wants to be back in a brick and mortar school. There's no reason why you can't do it. The district decides that they're going to use a different program course. So now they hand the teachers this new course. Nobody knows how it works. And it's mass mayhem. The Florida Teachers Union is suing the state of Florida. They don't want teachers to go back. They want e-learning. I understand that, yeah, this thing can spread, and it can spread pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this was a rant I made on Facebook a week ago, if you can get in your goddamn car, and you can go to Walmart, you can go to Arby's, you can go to Home Depot and Lowe's. You can go shopping in Costco. You can go to restaurants and you go inside the restaurant and sit down and eat. You know, you can get your ass to a voting booth. You can send your damn kids to school. Just have the proper stuff. It's a bunch of wussies. They're all afraid. Oh, I'm afraid. Yeah, all right, fine. Then you know what? Curl up in a ball. Don't get out of bed. That's your life. Don't infringe on mine. I don't want to hear it. I was going to shoot a video today. I'm driving through town, a couple towns over, and it was like gridlock at 3:30. And I'm like, they're worried about voting. Everybody's out. It's like this COVID doesn't exist here. Mm-hmm. Everybody's out shopping. Everybody's going back and forth, coming home from work. Whatever you got to do, they're out doing it.
Yeah.
You know? So what is the problem? Why is it a problem? You know, if you're an old fart and you got a crappy immune system, fine. Fill out the paperwork, mail in the ballot, and shut the hell up. This whole deal, the whole country should mail in their ballots. No, that's not happening.
Well, you know why they want to do that, right?
Of course.
Because then they won't be.
So Johnny Smith can vote for 10 times.
No.
And they'll take my ballot and they'll throw it in the garbage pit.
Well, they won't be able to count the votes in a timely manner.
That's another thing.
And so by the deadline of the time of the votes, then you know who's in charge, right?
Sure.
Pelosi.
Yeah. Not good.
So the Queen can get in.
Yeah, right.
So
she won't.
She wait.
Won't. He'll tell his Secret Service agents to pop 2 in her head. That'd be the end of Pelosi.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Biden's been a good puppet.
Yes, he's an absolute puppet. I've made mention of that numerous times. If he wins, Obama will be hiding behind the curtains in the Oval Office, directing this presidency. Don't think for a minute that it won't be that way.
It'll be like on The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
I've said it numerous times. Okay? Yeah. He didn't say a damn word when he left. Most presidents, when they're done, they're not going to, they do their 2 terms or whatever. They'll endorse the vice president as your next president. He didn't endorse him then. He didn't step up last year when Biden decided to run. He waited till the last minute when he was the only soldier standing. And he's a puppet. He thinks he's going to run this country for 2 more terms. Yeah. That's what it all boils down to. Because you cannot tell me that he's not going to be advising.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, because him and Joe are best friends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because Joe knows. Joe's a good man. Joe called the Amtrak guy when he got canceled because Joe knows everybody on that train. Joe bought everybody coffee. Joe's a wonderful guy. Now, Joe's a fucking asshole. That's what Joe is.
I don't know.
We're all
man.
idiots. Hey, I got no love for Trump. He's a fucking jerk. But you know what? I'd rather have the orange one in the White House than to have those crazies. I don't need another 4 to 8 years of the way things were when Obama was in office. Not good.
Well,
Not
I mean,
good.
it's just like you said. They've been that group's been in power for over 30 years and nothing.
Yeah.
And now they're going to fix things, or now
Right, exactly. They didn't do anything the whole time they were in power.
No, and
I keep getting into these like little spats, It's like Trump walked into a burgeoning economy, and I'm like, where do you get that from? He did. Obama had everything fixed before he left, and I'm like, why don't you do a little Google work and go see what the stock market was at and what the unemployment rate was at the day before election day? I go, and then tell me what happened once Trump got in office. How unemployment went down to the lowest numbers ever, and the stock market has been insanely high. And everybody's been making money off of that stuff.
Yep.
That economy was already there, and even Obama says it, that he handed him a good economy. And I'm like, you didn't hand him jack shit on a silver platter. Who the fuck are you kidding? It's it's just the lies. And I feel so sorry for so many people that have been drinking that Kool-Aid for all of these years, and they just don't want to hear the truth.
Oh no.
And trust me, Trump's got all his own bullshit.
Oh yeah.
He's involved in stuff that he should never get involved in. That little fight he's having with Goodyear. You kidding me here? Because some dude goes and posts this photo, and you're going to find out that photo was photoshopped and it ain't even real. Okay? And is Trump going to go, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that? No. If he wanted to get some really good brownie points when he realized that was bullshit, he would go on and say, yeah, I'm sorry I made that tweet. But he won't do that. He gets involved in stuff that he shouldn't be involved in. He's got just this insane ego that he needs to feed all the time. And he's like a 10-year-old. He starts fights with everybody. He's got all negative stuff to say about her. He's very unpresidential. So I would rather have a jackass from a TV show sitting in the White House than to have any idiots on the left.
It's crazy.
I know, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Yep.
Give him another term, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
hopefully, the silent majority comes out real strong.
Again, well, I hope.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, like I said, because it's definitely a mess.
This COVID thing, I'm so over it.
Yeah, I know.
I am used to carrying a mask around with me, though. For weeks, I would get out of the truck and I would get to the front door. And get the mask.
Yeah, my daughter made me couple, and it's to the point where now you have 3. I got one in my pocket.
Dude, I got a stack of them. I got 15 of them. Those those pleated paper ones. They kind of look like what doctors wear with this.
Yeah.
I got them in the center console in the truck. I keep them in my pocket, and after a while they get dirty, So you toss them. You just throw them away. Which I see all these idiots. They're throwing them in the parking lot. If I catch somebody, I swear to God, I'm gonna kick them in the fucking lot.
Yeah. At the grocery store, man, I tell you, I watch these people go in there and they come out. And the funny thing is, they come out and of course they open the car all up. They get in the car. They start the car up, and then they take the gloves off and throw them out in the thing. And I said, dude, you've touched everything in your car. You've turned on the AC. You've adjusted the radio. You grabbed the steering wheel.
Yeah.
You turned the car on, and now you've take the gloves off. You threw them in the parking lot, and you closed the door after you opened the car. You know, it's not even like I can understand if you came to the car and then, you know, took everything off.
Right.
You're not touching the car with your dirt. It's just people.
I don't wear gloves at all.
Yeah.
I don't even wear them. Every now and then, I'll take a squirt of sanitizer, rub my hands, and then I rub my steering wheel, which will probably, in time, that stuff will probably destroy the leather wrap on my steering wheel.
Well, the actually like Lysol wipes and stuff like that. If you're wiping down your radio, your touch screen, it takes the UV off.
Oh, really?
The screen. Yeah, they actually
use them around the house, counters and things like that, but I don't use them in the truck.
Yeah, but no, they actually have stuff that's automotive safe.
Uh-huh.
So that you can wipe down. I had a whole bunch. I sold it all, but you know we have a spray and a wipe that we were selling that doesn't but at the Ford dealership, guys are destroying their car. I mean, the touch screen.
Yeah,
they're destroying them with because it takes the UV off the screen.
This crap started in March. I'm totally over it. I'm not doing any really extra sanitizing, none of that. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have it. I don't think I'm going to get it. I've been through the hardest, the thickest of it when it was insane here in my county. Nothing, absolutely nothing. It's almost like it's a hoax, but I know that people are getting sick.
Yeah.
People are getting sick. People are dying. So I understand it's real. Maybe I have that blood type and that immunity where, you know, it tries to get in and my body goes, yeah, right, try again. Not happening today. So I'm lucky in that. And same thing with the guys that work with me. Nobody's had any kind of symptoms whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. So I am not overly zealous in terms of sterilization. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I live my life regularly. I wash my hands when I wash my hands. I don't run to the sink. Oh my God. I don't wear gloves. None of that. I make fun of stuff that I see all the time. You go to Lowe's, they put like saran wrap over the keys on the credit card machine. And I said to the manager who happened to be standing there, say, oh, you know, how you doing? This and that. Getting along good? I'm like, yeah, because they know me. I'm in there all the time. I'm like, let me say something to you. And he's like, what? I go, you're worried about grimy, germy fingers touching the buttons on the keypad. So you put protective cellophane over it. I go, what did that prove? He goes, well, what do you mean? Keeps the keys clean. I go, yeah. So now everybody's grimy, germy fingers are touching the buttons under the cellophane. You're just spreading, if there's germs, you're spreading them around the cellophane. Oh, I didn't think about that. I go, yeah. I said, and I know for a fact that the cashier isn't taking a wipe and wiping the keyboard after every customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you got a point there. I go, well, you know what? If you got rid of all of this crap, maybe that herd immunity can finally start to grow. You know? But I don't know. I'm no fortune teller. I don't know anything. I'm just a dude. You know, guy that plays with cars and takes care of rich people's aquariums.
Oh, no. I mean, I asked the same question. I said, so are we keeping the credit card machine safe?
You know, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Go to the ATM machine. Touch screen.
Yeah.
And a keyboard. You plug your card in there. Okay, you're not really touching the card. You're just touching the edge of the card. So everybody's touching the same amount of their card. So that's okay, fine. I don't think you're going to transfer anything really that way. Stick it back in your wallet. Touch screen comes up. Naturally, because I live in America, it asks me if I want the words on the screen to be Spanish or English. It's like, English, I live in the fucking USA. Then you got to put your PIN in, and that's a keypad. I don't see anybody coming out of the bank and wiping that keypad down, you know? Boom, boom, I put the numbers in, lick my finger. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I don't see the transfer of this virus like everybody's screaming the sky is falling. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that happening. It's not there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm the same way.
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah, uses her knuckles. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I do is going in and out of store. Like when I go to the gas station, Circle K, go get gas, and usually go inside, maybe get a cup of coffee. I will open the door if nobody's coming out. I reach for places where I don't think anybody's grabbing it.
Right.
I'll take my pinky. You know, if it's got like that big flat aluminum plate type of handle, I'll take my pinky and go like all the way at the bottom against the door and like kind of pick it out because I know nobody's grabbing it there. They're going to grab it in the middle like this.
Yeah.
You know? When I leave the store, I turn around and I push the door open with my back or with my shoulder. Or if I got to use my hand, I'll reach way up on the door, you know, where there's no grubby fingerprints on the glass, and I'll push the door open there.
That's me. Well, you know, at 6'4", and then, you know, I mean, I reach up pretty high.
Yeah.
And open the door when I push the door
Right.
up that
those,
way, you know.
Those places, you know, like a Home Depot or Lowe's, a gas station, there's a lot of traffic in and out of there, you know.
Yeah.
I keep a shop rag in the truck on the train, and I'll use the shop rag to grab the gas nozzle, you know. But it's not like I'm using it, and then I take that shop rag and I take it out of the truck and get another one. It's the same one that's been in there since March.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's when you're supposed to now, after you do that, John, you're supposed to wipe down, you know, you wipe down your steering wheel and the console and, you know.
I use that rag to put the nozzle in the truck to do what I got to do, take it out, then I ball it up and I throw it back in the truck. So I go get gas again.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I just don't get it. I want it to end. I really do.
Don't worry. November 4th or whatever, after the election, they'll find the cure. And
waiting to find the news cycle completely changes.
On the 7th, on this November 7th, they'll say while we were sleeping, you know, they pumped the gas through the air and everything. Right. While we were sleeping, everything we breathed, and we were all healthy.
Yep.
Don't worry.
Exactly. I get a kick out of you know, listening to all of this stuff about Biden and all these people that are supporting him on how he's gonna get this COVID stuff under control.
Yeah.
Like, okay. He wins the election. He ain't moving in till January. I kind of think it's going to be pretty much gone by then anyway. What are you going to do? You know, really, what are you going to do?
Well, it's just he'll take the credit because it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do too good with the what was it, the Ebola, right? I mean, there's still more people that died from that than this.
But, you know, they'll tell you that they left a playbook for Trump. And Trump took that book and threw it in the garbage.
Mm.
We had everything set. We had the country covered. We had a playbook to get rid of pandemics. We knew what to do, and we left that book for Trump, but he didn't want anything to do with it. But the truth is, after that pandemic, which wasn't even a pandemic, it lasted what, like 3 months, and they didn't close the country down because of it. The Obama administration never resupplied all of those warehouses, and that's the reason that we had so much trouble in the beginning.
Yeah.
But mind you, Trump's people should have been a little ahead of the game in terms of knowing what this country has stockpiled and where, and when that stuff, when those quantities were considered low, that stuff should have been taken care of.
Yeah.
Before China had a chance to unleash this crap, all of those stockpiles should have been brought way up.
Yeah, that's the problem of foreseeing or whatever you're saying. Oh, well,
how did Fauci know about it before it happened?
Yeah. Well,
Did you see that
all
piece of video?
inside.
Did you
That's
see that
all
video?
Yeah.
Give me some talk, and he specifically said after Trump got elected, this president will have to deal with a pandemic. He fucking knew that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that was like during the first year, I think, that Trump was in office, that he was making this speech to his group of virologists. He knew about it. I believe there really needs to be an investigation, because I'm sorry, the way this thing spreads and what it's doing and how it's actually mutating already, how can it mutate that fast? That tells you that this was created. This was lab created. This was released on purpose.
That's shit. Gates talked about it.
Yeah.
Way before all this.
Did you see the video of Gates addressing the Department of Defense, where he's talking about how they did CAT scans on people that are highly religious and people that are non-religious, and the different areas of the brain that show activity when they ask the same question to the two groups?
Yeah.
And that Microsoft and the Gates Foundation and some of these big pharma companies, they were working on a drug that they were going to drug possible terrorists in the Middle East to actually modify their brain structure so that they would not become terrorists. They were going to slip it into like vitamins and water and literally change their brain structure to not want them to be terrorists. And I'm like, that's Orwellian. And here he is talking to the Department of Defense, showing them this proof that they have of how they can manipulate the brain function. And I'm like,
crazy.
That dude scares the shit out of me, because he can't even make a fucking Windows program that doesn't get a virus infection. And he wants to play with people's brains?
Well, they make the virus program so it keeps them. It's job security. Come on, man. It's job security.
Well, job security for his friends at
and
McAfee and all that other stuff. Yeah.
Hey, when I worked on the German junk, when I worked on German cars, dude, the stuff they came up with for the repair was like, dude, why don't we just fix this right the first time? But it was job security. You know what I'm saying? Kept it coming back.
Absolutely.
So you just get it. You get it past the 30 days, right, or whatever you need, and it's job security.
Well, it's like buying Harbor Freight tools. You know, they're not good for long term, and the guy that doesn't want to spend the money for the right stuff, he'll break it and he'll go back and buy another $10 tool.
Yeah,
that'll last them another year. So,
and they think they're saving money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the funny part. I got a guy that he finally after I don't know how many years to buy a floor jack, from me. And I said, "Oh, you're not going to you only got about 19 Harbor Freight ones over here. The money that you spent could have bought like 3 or 4 of mine, but you saved so much money."
Exactly.
He's like, yeah, I guess it's about time I buy a real jack. I'm tired going back and forth. So
Unreal.
it is. I don't know. So when are you gonna get that car done?
The Camaro's real close now, man.
When you get it done, I'll ship mine down to you since you have so much free time.
No. I gotta get going on the Trans Am. This Trans Am is so sad. Sitting here crying.
John, as I've been listening and following along with you for a while, I still think you need a little bit more practice, so I'll send mine over to you, okay?
Yeah. Well, this weekend, now they're talking about that there may be 2 tropical storms. Did you see on the news?
No.
There's 2 of them in the South Atlantic, in the Caribbean. And they're both scheduled to possibly come right like on either side of Cuba. One heads towards Texas, and the other one's supposed to shoot up the west coast of Florida. And they're talking the one that's supposed to come up to Florida, if it does, it'll be here by like Monday.
Oh shit!
So I'm like, really? So I gotta keep my eye out on that. But thankfully, where we live, they call Tampa Teflon Tampa, and it has to do with the fact that there's Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Not literally we'll call it the mainland of Florida, but then you've got the peninsula that sticks out, which is Clearwater and St. Pete. In between is Tampa Bay. And because you got the Gulf of Mexico, you got a landmass, then you got Tampa Bay, then you got the mainland mass. It screws up the wind currents, and that's why Tampa doesn't get hurricanes, except for like every 30 years. One of them will kind of blow in, and if it does, 9 times out of 10, it comes in from the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I'm not real worried about it at all. I'm totally protected and safe. I got nothing to worry about. But
yeah.
Crappy weather means that I don't get to take the boat out, so I'll be working on this thing. But I should have the main harness completely connected from headlight to tail light and everything in between, hopefully by Sunday. If not, probably by the middle of the week, because I work a couple hours after work, and then it gets involved with the fuel injection unit and the digital dash and all the other happy crap, making all of these channels with a stylus, trying to program things, and then I'm ready to start this thing up. I got the drive shaft the other day that came in finally.
Who made your drive shaft?
PST.
Yeah,
Performance Shaft Technology. I didn't even know that they were so close to me. They're in Clearwater.
Yeah.
They do regular drive shafts, and then they do a lot of racing stuff. They make a lot of the carbon fiber drive shafts that you see in Pro Mod and Pro Stock.
Yeah.
These are the guys.
I was trying to remember who was it A1? No, what was that? QA1 or whatever. They have a carbon fiber one.
They do carbon fiber too, yeah. So PST, it's literally like a half-hour ride from me. So I took the dimensions that I needed. I called the guy up. I'm like, look, I don't have a yoke. He's like, no, don't worry about it. He goes, turbo 400. I go, yeah. He goes, just measure from the seal to the center line of the rear U-joint at ride height. He says, and then measure how much your tail shaft sticks out. He goes, does it have a roller bearing or a bushing inside? I'm like, no, it's a bushing. So he's like, okay, no problem. So he gave me a beautiful 1350 series yoke, really nice steel drive shaft, ready to go. So I just got to bolt that in, and then get this thing running. The motor, I pulled the oil in it. I pulled the plugs out.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So I got a starter. It's a matter of getting everything else hooked up to it, and then tune it, give it a quick tune, give it a little street test. I'm gonna have to go out and buy. I told the kid, I'm gonna have to go out and buy like some glass packs because I can't do this in my neighborhood with open headers. No, that's a no here. Plus the fact that it's going to rattle my garage. You can't hear anything with open headers.
Yeah.
And then for me to take the car out and do a road test, not happening. I got no license plates on this thing and nothing, So I'll buy a set of cheap glass packs, brushes or whatever, cherry bomb, stick them on the reducers at the collector, and at least it'll be quieter. It'll be loud, but it'll be quieter.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So he's ready to come down. He's going to drag a 30-foot enclosed trailer with him, with his dually, and he'll have room for.
He's up in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, and he'll have room for the car and all of his spare parts.
Yeah.
Because I can't put the hood on the car because the motor sticks up. He went and bought a beautiful, brand new hood, and I'm like, dude, I said I don't want to cut a hole in this thing. I said, you need a cowl induction hood. He goes, I didn't think I was going to need a cowl hood. I go, well, if you would have bought a small block, it wouldn't have been a problem. You had to go buy the biggest motor they make.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah. I said, you're going to need like a 4-inch cowl induction hood. So he may wind up putting the hood scoop on this hood.
Really? Yeah.
Or if he finds a really nice steel, cowl hood, that would be the way to go. So there's a bunch of parts. I have a bunch of stuff that we took off the car that he wants to bring back to Pennsylvania. He can sell it to somebody. Some friends of his are looking for restoration parts, things like that. So he needed a large enough trailer to carry all of this other crap. Plus, I have his whole interior.
Yeah.
He had his whole interior shipped to me.
Wow.
I'm like, why'd you do that? He goes, I forgot to tell him to split it. So I have back seats, top and bottom, front seats, which I'm going to mount the front seats, center console, which I can't put his center console in. It needs to be modified with the shifter that we're using. So he needs to take that console to an upholstery shop and have them cut the leather the right way.
Yeah.
Trim ring. That's not Johnny's job, No. He's got to do that. He'll wind up with a bare floor. I have his carpet, door panels, the panels that go behind the door on the back, on either side of the rear seats. I have the package tray. He had all of that stuff sent to me.
Wow.
Plus, he brought 2 sets of seats when he came to drop the car off. He had a set of black seats and a set of red seats that were going to go in the car. And he told me, he's like, well, keep the black seats for the Trans Am. So I have these beautiful, like velour recliners with the bolsters and the whole deal. It's not a racing seat, but it's got the things for the shoulder harnesses. So it's a sport seat, which is what I want to put in the car anyway. Because I used to have those plastic Jazz bucket seats.
Oh, yeah.
No. Not at 62 years old, not happening.
Yeah.
For a while, I had a Kirky aluminum seat too. For a while.
Yeah.
I got out of that, and I went to the Jazz seats with the leather, that cheap vinyl cover.
Yeah.
Fine back then, But so now I got these beautiful seats. They're sitting in a box up there, but I have his red ones sitting in the storage unit. Tons of stuff. The original equipment radiator support that we didn't use, because I got that custom built aluminum one with the really, really big radiator on it. So I have that. I've got his bumpers. I've got all kinds. He's like, don't put any of that stuff back on. He goes, it's all got to come off for me to do the body work. So I got like a 10 by 10 storage unit that's like stacked floor to ceiling with all kinds of crap.
Wow.
My stuff and his stuff.
Yeah. That's a mess.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You can get in and out of it. It's nice and easy. Everything's, he's got one side, I got the other side. It's good.
Yeah.
That rotisserie that I was using for the longest,
Uh-huh.
I semi disassembled that
put that in there.
In there. So when you walk in there, you got to like step over the legs to get to something. I have glass that came out of this car, glass that came out of the Firebird.
It's funny, the glass that from my Mustang is still under my parents' bed. Almost 30 years it's been under their bed.
Oh my God.
I didn't know, because on the fastback it has that rounded window.
Right.
And I didn't know where to put it when I pulled it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like trying to think the safest place.
Yeah.
So everybody's gone. Here goes Brian walking through the house. Lays down a couple of bath towels.
Yeah.
Got it all slided under there. I don't know. A week or so later, my dad's like, "Hey, you want to tell me something? Like, what's that under our bed?" I said, "Oh, that's the window. I mean, the front window and the rear window to the Mustang." This is like the safest place I could think about putting it.
Yeah,
it's been there ever since. So.
Oh God, it's a good thing your mom didn't take the vacuum and run it under the bed.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have they have all hardwood floors.
Yeah,
it's
the good old hardwood floors, tongue and groove, right?
Yeah,
My mom had them in her house. That's when when you used to buy a house and they actually would build a house.
Yeah, my house was my house I'm in. A builder owned it. He was living out of it while he was building other houses.
Right.
So whatever he had left over was in this house.
That's
so it's like it's been added on like 3 times, and like all the windows are slightly, when I changed the windows, they were like, man, all these windows are slightly different.
From a distance, they look the same, but one's a half inch shorter than the other.
Yeah, my house is the same age as I was built in 60, same age as I am, built in 65 or whatever, 65, 60. Yeah.
My mom's house was built in 62.
Yeah. And my parents' house was built around the same time. They were the first house in the neighborhood that was built. They were all demo houses or so like when you go in my parents' area, they'll have like 3 of the same houses, but they have different layouts, and then you go the next 3, and then the next 3, it was like how you can have
it's
all
weird.
the different options.
We were the second family to move into the development. We literally moved in the day after the first family moved in.
Yeah.
They were a couple houses down, but the 2 models for our development are like 4 miles away from where the houses are.
Oh, really?
And they're on this relatively main road, Larkfield Road, and it's a totally different school district. Powermaster school district, and I was in the school district. And there were 3 models. There's the Colonial, which is a 2-story. Yeah. Basically really the house is a rectangle with a shorter section upstairs with the bedrooms upstairs, Then there was the L-shaped ranch, which was the smallest house, but it was a house that was literally shaped in an L. 1-car garage, 3 bedrooms, kitchen, dining room, living room. And then there was the one that my dad bought, was what they called the High Ranch, which was a bigger box. My mom's got a real simple roof. It's got one peak that runs from left to right, and it slopes down in the front and down in the back, and then over the front stairs, the front entryway is just that second peak, But very tall. It's a 2-story, but it's a really tall 2-story. So they stand out. My father thought it was very kind of White House looking, And and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 6-bedroom house.
Wow.
2 downstairs, 4 upstairs, and they're big. And it's weird because when you go down Larkfield Road, you see the High Ranch, the L-shaped branch, the Colonial, and they don't match any other house in the area. You got to drive like 4 miles down the road, make a left, and you get to our development.
That's funny.
Yeah. That was the only place that they could put the models, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe they had the expansion, or they thought.
No, because the houses that where it is were already there.
Oh.
It was like 3 lots that they were able to buy and put these models up.
Yeah.
And where I grew up, it was a big giant potato farm. And when we moved in there, the road wasn't even paved.
Wow.
Curbs were up. There were various houses under construction, but it was dirt. Nothing was paved. You just had your curbs, and then then it just kept going. And the weird part is there was a different development on one end of the block, and then on the other end of the block was this huge mound of dirt, and there was nothing there at all. It was just a field, an overgrown field. Yeah. So they built our development went like, let's say, north-south, and it was only maybe 4 blocks in width, but it was 3/4 of a mile or more in length going back. So it was a weird track, Yeah. And then they built the ones up the hill from us. They built that development. And then years later, they built the ones on the other end. And they continued the road and then brought out another one and filled it up. So it took a while to fill up that whole area. So I grew up, with like farmland around me and horses in that development to the left where they hadn't done anything was this guy named Tiny, and Tiny weighed like 550 pounds. And he had a farm stand. Yeah. Vegetables and horses. And when Tiny died, they buried him in a piano case.
Wow.
Yeah, Tiny was a big guy. I remember that dude. And we used to go play with the horses all the time. It was like living on a farm, Huh. And suburbia kind of crept in around us. Yeah. It was pretty wild. It was good. It was a good place to grow up. A little town called East Northport, New York, on the North Shore of Long Island. It was good. Yeah. Far from the city, kind of not far from the end of the island. It was good. I had a good time. I had a good childhood. I'm not complaining about it whatsoever.
Yeah, when we moved out with our parents,
we had circle tracks. We had all kinds of racing. It was awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Beaches, north, south. You get on the highway, you go south, you go to Fire Island and the Atlantic Ocean. You go north, and you go to Long Island Sound. So I did a lot of that stuff. It was cool. Well, I think I'm going to hit the highway.
Yep, I got to get ready for running my credit card tomorrow. Yeah. Got to get it all set up and make sure. Like I said, all it is, it's actually really, it'll probably do it without me, but I always check to make sure it's, hooked up and everybody that's supposed to get hit gets hit. So
I did charge cards last night. I split up, how we have our charge customers, split them up into different groups. And I think it was about 5,600 last night. So
yeah, I wish the only reason why it's got to be Friday is because when they get paid. Yeah. And the only thing that sucks for me is I won't see that money until next week.
Right.
And it'd be great if I could say, if I could run it on Wednesday so I would have it all for this week. But yeah, it's some of the guys I could probably get away with that, but most people it's got to wait for the payday. So
no big deal.
Yeah, it all rolls. So yeah. All right, John. Well, take care. Be safe.
You got it.
Stay out of trouble.
I'll try.
I'll see you.
See you.
Yep. Bye.